Hey everybody, this is Mr. Walker. The purpose of this video is to show you how to solve some of the three highly missed questions on our test. Once you guys are working through this, you should be able to answer the questions in this Edpuzzle. After the Edpuzzle, please email me to let me know your results. If you get a 100%, I'll go ahead and give you the test corrections and bump your grade up. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with question number 3 here. This was actually one of the highest missed questions on our test. It says enter the value for x that makes this equation true. So here's my equation right here. So I have negative 3 groups of x minus 4 plus x equals 2x minus 12. So when I go to solve this problem, what I want to do first is I want to simplify as best as I can anywhere that I can on the left side or the right side of this equal sign. So let's go ahead and simplify it. I noticed that there's some things that I could do on the left side to simplify. I could distribute this negative 3 to the numbers that are inside of this parentheses. So negative 3 times x is negative 3x minus negative 3 times 4 is negative 12 plus x is still there. It doesn't get multiplied by the negative 3 because it's outside the parentheses, equals 2x minus 12. All right, so from here I could still simplify the left-hand side because there's an x and a negative 3x is there, so those can be put together to make negative 2x. When I add one more, it makes negative 2. And then I have negative minus negative 12 equals 2x minus 12. From there, what you want to do is you want to get all the x's to one side. It doesn't matter which side that you put them on. It just matters that you get them to one side. So let's go ahead. I'm going to use a different color here. Let's add 2x's to both sides. And the reason I add 2x's to both sides, and you'll see here in just a second, is that it's going to basically get rid of this section right here. So I just have like a minus negative 12 over here. And on the right side, I have 4x minus 12. So 2x's plus 2x's makes the 4x. So I got rid of the x's from one side. Now, one thing that I really, it's kind of confusing to me is this minus negative 12. I remember back in 7th grade that you could change subtraction problems to addition as long as you add the opposite. So really, minusing negative 12 is just like adding a positive 12. When you subtract, you could change it to adding the opposite. So this looks a little bit better to me. I like it this way a little bit better. It might not be as confusing to you either to have it written as 12 and not minus negative 12. All right, so from here, this is now just a two-step equation to solve. I want to undo any addition or subtraction first. So let's undo this minus 12 by adding 12 to both sides. And what that does on this side of the equation, on the right side, this is basically gone now, and I have 4x's equals 24. Now the last thing we need to do is to undo that multiplying by 4, and to undo multiplication is divide. So divide by 4, and it tells me that basically what 1x is going to be, because when I divide 4x by 4, I get just 1x, and on the right side I get 6. So the value of x in this problem is 6. The best way to check that is to replace every x that I see in the original equation with a 6. So if I replace it, we call it substitute, every x that's there with the 6, you should get equal amounts on the left side and the right side of the equation. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and erase this so we can move on to question number 5. Question number 5 looks pretty similar to the ones that we just did. I would say it's a tad bit easier too than the one that we just did. So let's go ahead and take a look. we have to enter the value of x that makes the equation true. So first thing you always need to do is try to simplify. If there's numbers that you can put together, if there's x's that you could put together, try that. I also noticed that there's a 2 here in front of the parentheses, so I'm going to distribute the 2 because that means 2 groups. So 2x and then minus 2 times 4 is 8. And on the right side of the equation, there's a 6x plus 8. Now there's no more simplifying that I have to do here because I can't combine any like terms on the left side. There's no x's that need to be combined. There's no numbers. And on the right side, it's the same thing, no x's. Okay, from here, I like to move all of the x's to one side. It doesn't matter which side you move them to. I would probably get rid of 2 x's from here, but you don't have to. You could get rid of 6 x's from both sides and it still makes it equal. Now remember, just to be sure, you have to do it to both sides in order for the equation to stay balanced. Right now it's perfectly balanced. If I only did it to the left and got rid of it, it wouldn't be balanced anymore. So 2x's minus 2x is nothing. I have this minus 8, or think of it like a negative 8. And then 4x plus 8 goes right here. All right, so from here, it's just a 2-step equation. And all I have to do is start by undoing any addition and subtraction that I have next to the x. So I'm going to, oops, that should be a subtract. I'm going to minus 8. And remember, I have to do it to the other side too. So I'm going to subtract 8 from here. So what that gives me is, over here I have like a negative 16, negative 8, or minus 8 minus 8 more is negative 16. On this side, that's gone, and all I have left is 4x. All right. So from here, I just want to undo that multiplication in front of the x. So I divide by 4. Since I know 4x's makes negative 16, I need to divide to figure out what 1x will be. The x is equal to negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. All right, so there's your answer for that one. Always try to, so if I go back to the very beginning question right here, always try to simplify first, remove or move the x's to one side second, and then from there, when we got to this point, we just had a 2-step equation to solve. So you undo the adding, subtracting things first, and then undo the multiplication or division second. All right, let's move on to our last question. This one was another one that we missed. The question has to do with which of these has no solutions. Okay, now examples, I'll give you guys a couple of examples of where there wouldn't be a solution. All right, so if I have 4x over here, and on the other side I have 4x plus 1, that's going to have no solutions because I have the same number of variables on both sides, but a different constant. That's this number right here. This is a 1, there's nothing over here. What would end up happening is I would solve this by removing 4x's from both sides, and what you get is 0 equals 1, because 4x's minus 4x's is 0, and that's not a true sentence. So we could tell that there's going to be no solution if it has the same number of variables but a different number of constants, like this. So this is a 1, there's nothing over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the options that they give us. I'm going to randomly choose one. I'll choose letter C first to start. I don't know if that's the answer, but I'll start there. All right, so I need to simplify the left side and the right side first, just like we did in our first examples from earlier. Let's see, I have x minus 4 plus 1 minus 7x. Well, x minus 7x is negative 6x. and I have a -4 and a +1, that's like you're going to end up just minusing 3. It's like a -4 and a +1. On the other side of the equation, I have -8x plus 2x, so that's going to be -6x. And then I have a +4 and a -7. That's going to make -3. If they're the same number of variables, like here, and the same number of constants, that means there's going to be an infinite number of solutions. So it doesn't matter what number I would use for x, it would still be infinite. It's still equal on left side and right side. So that one is not a no solution. So we could tell C is not. Let's try B. So I want to combine the like terms. So 4x minus 5x, that's going to be minus 1x, or minus x. And then 21 minus 9, let's see, that would be 12, so plus 12. On the right side, I have 8x's minus 7x's. That's going to be just a positive x. And then 4 plus 6 is positive 10. So this one has different amounts of variables. That tells me that there's going to be only one solution. Only one number works. Letter C, if we remember, had infinite number because there was the same x's, same constants, same variables on left and right. So B is one solution. All right, so we haven't found it yet. I'm going to try letter D. If it's not letter D, we know it's letter A. All right, so let's combine the like terms that we're simplifying. So 3x minus 10x's is negative 7x. And we have 5 and 10, or sorry, 5 and 8, that makes 13. They're both positive. All right, on the right side we have x minus 8x's, that's negative 7x. And then we have minus 16 minus 3, that's going to be like minusing 19. All right, so we found our answer here with this one. They have the same number of variables, but a different constant number. That tells us that it's going to have it's not going to have any solution, because 13 will not equal negative 19. So our answer was letter D on that one. That's the one that has no solution. Okay, so just a quick recap. Same number of variables, different constants, no solutions. This one for letter C had the same number of constants and same number of variables, so that one had infinite. And then for letter B, because it had different variables on left side and right side, it would only have one solution. All right, everybody, make sure that you guys work through all of these problems. Email me once you're done, and I'll update your grade at the end.